CMMS Radio talks about all things CMMS, computerized maintenance management software, focused on maintenance management. It's the people, the process, and the culture that make your CMMS journey a success. There he is. It's Peter Jurcso. He is, did I say that right, Peter?
Absolutely.
All right. Peter Jurcso with CERN. He's coming to StrEAMline conferences in Greenville, South Carolina, and that is happening February 9th through 12th. And we got a bunch of people coming in to do presentations, workshops, all kinds of stuff going on, focused in and around a community approach to asset management and everything connected to it. It's not about selling. It's about getting somewhere, finding outcomes and strategies you can bring home with you. Peter, what are you going to be doing at StrEAMline?
First, thank you for the opportunity, Greg. I'm coming to StrEAMline as the third time in a row. And this time I also coming with one of my colleagues who is very well praised in the community because he is one of the top contributors of the user forums on the Hexagon EAM. His name is Goran, and he will run a workshop where he will put together his famous tips and tricks with the title of Tips and Tricks on the Everyday Journey within EAM, with stop at import utility and alerts. And I'm absolutely sure a lot of people who is following Goran's contribution on the different forums will be absolutely delighted to see him finally in person on the StrEAMline conference. Yeah. Beside of that, I will have two presentations. One presentation is on the equipment-based data, and joining the theme of the conference, the title of the talk will be See the Forest and the Trees. Because in many cases, we have very, very complex equipment structures, but we are forgetting what's in the background. Or even the other way around, we see the things in the front, but we don't see the whole picture easily. Yeah. And I will have a lot of examples based on our experience, and that will hopefully indicate the beginning of lots of discussions, because without the equipment-based data, all the other functionalities are absolutely useless in an EAM system.
It's true, and we talked about some of that last year at StrEAMline when we sat and got to know one another for the first time. You also happen to be a StrEAMline advisory board member. So you're going to be on that session where I guess everybody gets to meet the advisory board members. What is your favorite thing about StrEAMline now that you're coming back for the third time?
For me, it's really about the community. This is one of the few events when you have the possibility to really talk to the people who are behind of a very complex and very powerful software. Usually, it's like in the case of the O's, something is behind the curtain and you never see who is pulling the strings. But in the case of StrEAMline, we have the possibility to meet developers, meet people from Hexagon, and you really have the possibility to talk to these guys. It's not sitting behind the barrier and not reachable. You can grab a drink, you can have a chat during one of the coffee breaks. And for me, this is an amazing value, but we cannot have at other events.
It's true. And that's the thing right there. When people ask me, what was it like going for the first time and why am I a part of it? It's for those exact reasons. And a lot of conferences talk about it, but this one's really all about it. I think it's something we all look forward to, but we get also these other interactions when you move away from selling and focusing on solutioning, where you can really present any kind of problem and you get a combination of course, people from Hexagon that can help you, but people from essentially all walks of life, asset management, people in different industries. What are they wrestling with? What have they succeeded with? And then there's the practitioners that are part of the overall ecosystem that want to help and actually solve these problems, the ones that do the plant walk downs, Reliability X. I know a Levotech's going to be there. I know that IT Experts Hub is going to be there. I know ABS is going to be there. I mean, it's going to be just a core group of sponsors and then all the people that just simply want to help. Are there any sessions that you're not participating in as, either a presenter or a co-presenter that you're looking forward to?
I'm really interested to some of the other workshop sessions which will be happening on the Thursday, on the last day of the conference, which is really will be a deep dive in some of the subjects. So I'm really looking forward to that. But also in general, all the additional talks where I have the possibility to listen to, because I can always find new perspective, new experiences. And again, this allows the discussion afterwards, which is really, really valuable in such a setting.
Yeah, and hopefully you and I'll get some time to maybe even record again, because that way, you're out, you're over here, you participate in that, I might be over there, and everybody else. We want to kind of get that gathered up for people just so they get a little sense of what it really is. What do you, now, not specific to StrEAMline, but more about our overall industry, when we talk about asset management, maintenance management, reliability, anything you're super excited about for the year 2026, not just the StrEAMline conferences, but anything that's coming up that you have on the horizon that you want to talk about?
I'm in general very curious how the further developments using the large language models can bring something useful, because we have a large amount of data stored in the EM systems, which is quite difficult to exploit today. If I'm just thinking on how we can have more value out of comments on the different work orders or on different assets, I think so. If we can have any jumps, especially with the Alex integrated into the EM, that would be, I think so, an enormous added value for everybody without all the usual risks and side effects what everybody's thinking about and the different AI applications.
Yeah, well, I think I look for that improvement too, where it's really going to start turning the corner and we start to know what really works, what's really accurate, and you don't have to have those concerns that everybody had last year and the year before. It's not the newest technology that people think it is. It's just popularized now, so we see it everywhere. And instead of, sure, a lot of us like to make fun of it, a lot of us like to point out the flaws and the dangers, we have to sometimes take a moment like what you did and look at what the possibilities are as accuracy develops and it starts to kind of shake out and we figure out who's really doing it right. That's not to really crush anyone that's doing it wrong. It's to say, let's figure out what's actually going to work, because data is not the answer if it doesn't have context and it wasn't based on standardization. And if it's just noise, all you're doing is amplifying and more quickly finding out, oh, there's some noise. Like, what do you find right now that works for you that might improve?
I'm really looking for this phase when we can have a slightly better data quality, because we know that this data is coming from the practitioners, from the technicians on the field, who should be convinced that if they are providing the right data, this right data will be useful, not just for them but for the whole organization.
Yeah.
And this is why I'm always referring back, you know very well, my famous 3 Ps. We need the people first to be able to have reasonable processes, and then we can use any of the platforms to make this whole thing work together.
Yeah. Yeah. And I remember that too. So people, processes, platforms, which is much like people, process, product, or people, process, and then the technology, because that's what it's all based on. Our way of moving, way of being, way of adopting standardization. Technology doesn't make you standardize, it helps you standardize.
Exactly. And I can relate very much with that concerning my second presentation, which will be on the Wednesday morning, when I speak about the latest version of our open source extension for the Hexagon EAM, the CERN EAM Lite, which is very nicely fits into your pocket using your phone. And with that, you can have an additional piece of technology which can help to listen better to the assets.
I like that because, if we're going to speak for the assets, we got to first listen to them, right? We got to know what we're getting. But now you're talking about with that CERN interface, a quicker, easier, less cumbersome way to interact with the system of overall record. Is that a fair statement about that mobile interface?
Yes, it's a fair statement. It's a different perspective, which is really looks the whole data and the whole process from the perspective of a field worker.
Yeah.
If I'm thinking the field worker would like to know what I have to do, where, with which kind of equipment. If I'm looking around, I should be able to identify the different things around me and eventually see if I have to do something with that or I have to report something on them. And to have a single interface where in the world when everything is coming with an app, you don't have to install anything. You are just opening your browser and you have the functionality there, which could be simplifying the usage, especially in situations where you have subcontractors or where you have to have other not directly controlled users to access the tool and enter the information. Because we know in today's computer security landscape, it's extremely difficult to ask anybody to install something on a managed device at a company, for example.
Oh, not only is that true, but the idea that what if for a minute, starting now, everyone, every time we have somebody come on site that's not our people that have been through all the various training methodologies and protocols and standard operating procedures that we follow when we're here. Now, when the vendor shows up, the contractor shows up, before you start any work, you have to go through this 3-day class to learn all of our stuff. So you have to have a way to avoid that because it's ridiculous, right? Like
exactly.
It just wouldn't work. And part of the reason and when I say we, I'm talking about everyone that has assets to manage, data to gather, past, present, and future views that we want to have really accurate so that we can make decisions and understand what's really happening, what's not happening. There's that barrier to getting people to use your stuff, and
Yes,
anything that makes that easier for them because they've got their own businesses to run. I mean, I think that's where I was going with it. So you think the adoption of something like that is going to continue to scale where more and more vendors and contractors are interacting even than have been in the last decade or so?
Definitely. In our case at CERN, about half of the users are contractors. So it means that that we are ensuring already at the level of the outsourcing contracts that these contractors will enter the information and the correct information, which will be in many cases even used as basis of the billing and the verification of the billing, because we will only pay for those things which is appearing and it has been registered in the EAM properly.
Yeah.
So in this sense, it guarantees that that we have the data. Even if we are changing contractors, we have the information from the past available. And with this approach that they just need a phone with a browser, they can very easily fulfill these requirements. And at the very end, that's leading to the situation when we are getting better data and better overview on what's really happening on the site.
Absolutely. So one presentation is all about that. Then you've got another presentation, and there's a partner doing a workshop, a client partner doing a workshop.
Exactly.
So that's 3 things you're doing at StrEAMline. And obviously, I'm excited to see you again. It'll be almost 1 year to the day when we get there, and we're going to hang out with a bunch of our friends. I want to remind everyone before we close out, if you need to register to attend, there's a specific code you can use, and I want you to sign up as Peter's guest. So you would do a capital P, capital J, underscore, capital GUEST. So it's PJ underscore guest. Will get you a discount so that you can attend StrEAMline, not only to connect with, listen to, and hear all about the things Peter's passionate about, but all the other people that are going to be there to actually help you. It's not about, hey, let's sell you some cool stuff. It's more about, what are you struggling with? What are you dealing with? Here are some strategies, and everybody's talking about it from the kickoff in the morning all the way until nighttime, even when we're at the after hours events. Peter, I look forward to seeing you once again at StrEAMline.
Yes, see you in StrEAMline on the 9th of February.
Did you find this episode helpful? Please send us some feedback, suggest a topic, or ask a question. Reach out to CMMS Radio if you need a co-pilot on your CMMS project. Visit cmmsradio.com and use the What's on Your Mind link. Thank you for tuning in to CMMS Radio, your resource for all things CMMS, from selection to implementation, to help you make better choices, learn from industry experts, and have a successful CMMS journey.